make its way down toward the south. So it should be in Lomita around 624. And that's here in the next 4 minutes or so. So again, get to your safe place now in Lomita. Let's get to the lowest floor of your home or business. Get as many walls between you and the outside. A bathroom's a good place because it has pipes in the wall. Get in the bathtub, get in an interior closet, interior hallway. Again, as many walls between you and the outside and away from those windows as well. As this continues down 183, and it's going to be passing right near Lomita. Even if we don't have a tornado with this, I think we're going to get some very strong winds up to about 70 miles per hour blowing into this thunderstorm as it continues down to the south. Our storm winds right now, this is our rotation right here where those greens and those reds come together. And it's definitely starting to tighten up just a bit. Now, I will say this. With where the radar is located in comparison to this, it is going to be a little aloft here. But we do have that potential for the spin here as it continues down 183 and toward you folks in the Lomita area. Again, we do have meteorologist Josh Johns on this thunderstorm, and he is going to protect you folks in the Lomita area as it continues to make its way down to the south. There's the live look at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. We can pop that in from time to time. Again, we have Josh repositioning because it does appear that we are going to see this rain-wrapped. So if there is a tornado, it will likely be rain-wrapped. You will not see it come into town. There will likely be some strong winds as well. So even if we don't see a tornado, wind is wind, 70-mile-per-hour winds, especially with golf ball size hail. That is not a good thing heading down toward 183. Of course, we also have the thunderstorm in San Saba. That's also producing likely some large hail in and around town right now. This storm is not tornadic, but it will continue to make its way across San Saba and then down across rural sections of southeastern San Saba County, south of 190, east of 16, as it continues off toward the south-southeast. So it's a general drift toward the south-southeast with that. Also, the hail core in the Lomita storm is just north of town. Again, quarter to golf ball size hail will be likely with this thunderstorm as it continues down to the south. This one's been cycling with its hail core. It hasn't been continuous, and that's what storms do. They continuously cycle. They're not the exact same, but we will have that moving into town here in the next few minutes. I know we have Josh repositioning right now. I think he's in Lomita. Let's go back to him real quick. And Josh, give us your location and what you're seeing.
We are in Lomita, so we're pretty much at the corner of 581 and 183. If you look in front of me, you may be able to make it out, Matt. You can see those feeders at the Purina plant right there. Just past that, you see all that moisture feeding into the storm. If the tornado is happening, it's happening up 183 right from here. Us, probably where that pecan tree is. It'll be in that angle, but you can see how that moisture is feeding into it from the south. So I know earlier we had been mentioning that we were struggling with some low-level flow. It looks like at least there is a little bit of low-level flow. I look directly above the pecan tree. There's nothing there. It's going to be a little further outside of town, but I wanted to show you that we do have that moisture feeding into the core of the storm. And so we're going to try to head a little further south, or we're going to sit in Lomita, whichever you want.
Yeah, he's talking about this right here. You can see the clouds feeding up in there. And what you get is you get a little notch to develop. And that's where the winds like to feed up into the thunderstorm right here, going into the updraft, which is currently right here. So, again, we have the winds, and usually it's about 2 or 3 miles wide. So you can see with the wind where he is in Lomita right now is not blowing that hard. But you go just to the northeast of town, you probably have winds blowing into this thunderstorm, probably in the order of 20 to 30 miles per hour, maybe a little bit higher, and that's what we're feeding into the updraft of this thunderstorm right here. So a very good shot from meteorologist Josh Johns in our Storm Wrangler right there. And Caleb, what rotation do we have up 183 right now? New scan coming in.
Yeah, I was circling a couple things earlier. We have a area that's definitely defined as some broad rotation. This is going to be generally what we call the mesocyclone in the thunderstorm, but within that we might be noticing some things that are trying to become a little tighter inside. So this is what we would refer to as the opposing winds in the storm. Greens are going to be blowing toward the radar site, red away, and when those get closer together and brighter, that's a higher confidence sign for us that rotation would be increasing and strengthening. It's not, again, the most clear-cut signal over the past couple scans, but the colors are indicative of something that's trying to tighten up, and that's why the tornado warning has been issued. So both from a radar standpoint and from an eyeball standpoint with Josh Johns, we've got a pretty good idea of what's happening out there.
All right, so it does look broad. And again, the radar site's pretty far away from this. The closest radar site's GRK, and that's at least 100 miles away. So we are looking up probably about 6,000 feet up in the storm with that. So we get these different radar scans. And again, it's looking pretty high up in the storm. There's not a ton of low-level flow going into this. We did see a little bit, right, it's going to be right here. Remember that shot with Josh that we had just a little bit earlier? I said northeast of town, that's going to be it right there. That's your notch. So that's the southeasterly wind feeding into this right now and then wrapping around the mesocyclone right here, and your hail core is right on the north side. So kind of a classic supercell right now as it makes its way into Lomita. So even if we don't have a tornado, we could still have winds up to 70 miles per hour. Wind is wind. It can do damage whether it's coming straight at you or whether it's rotating. So that's why we do want you to take your tornado precautions right now in the Lomita area. And we want you to put as many walls between you and the outside. I know I'm repeating myself, but remember, people start joining us at different times once they start giving the warning. So as many walls between you and the outside, get away, especially from north and west facing windows, because that's what's going to be wrapping any hail coming in from this thunderstorm, especially if we just get 60, 70 mile per hour winds. That can help blow out windows. It looks like it has tightened up just a little bit more on those radar winds, Caleb.
Yeah, I'm kind of toggling back and forth between what we would call a base velocity product and a storm relative. One of those is definitely going to be giving us a clear-cut view of rotation as opposed to just winds moving in a straight line. But sometimes looking at both can give you a pretty good idea of what's going on. And indeed, that is a rotating mesocyclone, a rotating column of air within the thunderstorm. If it gets, of course, any tighter or brighter, that would give us, confidence that this could be an imminent tornado producer. Not necessarily seeing that right this second, but of course, with every scan, we're going to get some new information. So
Anything new from the Weather Service?
Not with this particular storm. I mean, they are noticing what we are in terms of keeping an eye on the rotation. We don't have spotter reports. We do, of course, have our own Josh Johns out there. In terms of the San Saba County storm, in the city of San Saba, we had a report of ping pong ball size hail a few minutes ago.
All right, so ping pong ball size hail in San Saba. Josh is in Lomita right now. Let's go back to him in the Storm Wrangler. He has a great shot looking up. I'm assuming that's 183 there, Josh.
Yes, we are looking at 183. And Matt, you can see the base of the storm now. You can see that moisture feeding into it from the right. If there is a tornado, it's going to be on the left of your screen. I've been watching radar on my own, and it did show a little bit of tightening with a little spot just along 183 just to the northwest of Lomita. So that's what I'm trying to hone in on there. It's hard to see because I think the rain's blocking it, but we're now on the south end of Lomita looking north. And as you can see, a lot of moisture still feeding into this thing. Don't see anything defined just yet that jumps at me, but if you look closely there's a little bit of spin on the left side of the screen, Matt. I don't know if you see that now, too.
All right, what is your inflow wind right there? It doesn't look like it's that strong.
Inflow wind right now, I think we're getting a little bit of outflow wind. The wind's coming across our vehicle. So I think we're streaming a little bit from the west and the southwest.
Okay, so now you're starting to get what we call the rear flank downdraft, which is on the west side of the storm, starting to curve into this thing. So we probably have southeast winds probably just about 2 miles to the northeast of where Josh is right now, feeding into the thunderstorm, and he's on, just remember, it's just like a low pressure system. That's basically what it is. He's getting westerly winds here, southeasterly winds here, so your rotation is going to be right in here. We can see that on the radar. It's still very broad, and that is good news that it's staying more broad and not tightening up. We're not seeing the bright reds, the bright greens touch each other right now, and that's good news. But as you can see Caleb drawing this here, he's getting these westerly winds coming around the base of the thunderstorm, and again, then feeding into the notch. That's a southeasterly wind right there, and that's what creates our spin, and that is going to continue down 183. It's pretty much right over Lomita right now. So Josh, where exactly are you in Lomita?
We're right next to the Lomita Regional Park, so we're just south of the where 190 and 183 come together.
Okay, so you're on the south side of town there. And again, it's a very broad rotation. I mean, are we seeing any scud or anything go up in this? It looks like we just got a new part of the warning just issued right there.
Yeah, they're just trimming some stuff off at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing...
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, we are seeing a little bit of scud go up into it, Matt. What I'm noticing is just on left side, look at where, sorry, I know there's a lot of feedback from these trucks. Look at where the color of the clouds goes a little bit more frosty. I've seen a little bit more spin showing up over there.
So
and that's what I've been
gonna
keeping my eye on.
That's likely going to be our hail core right there. So you kind of, people talk about the bluish or greenish look in a thunderstorm. When it's severe, that's it. Right there, that's your hail core. And then this is the wind that's coming into it. We have westerly winds at the location where Josh is. So again, the mesocyclone is pretty much right in front of Josh right now. If we were to get a tornado, it'd be very close to where Josh is, just off to his northwest. Correct, Josh?
Yeah, I would say so as well. Now, that would be behind the RFD, too, looking at the radar imagery.
Yeah, this is interesting. We're looking at the spin with this. Looks like it's pretty much west of 183 now, on the west side of Lomita. So on the west side of town, moving down toward Highway 190. So I think, again, that's where we're going to get some strong winds. Probably some of that hail core going to be hitting there as well. So again, tornado warning remains in effect for the city of Lomita as it continues to work its way down to the south. Hail core has come down just a little bit, so that's some good news. So hopefully this is a sign that this is weakening just a bit, but still quarter, penny size hail, pocket change size hail possible. That's on our hail tracker. Sometimes that can be a little underdone. It could be up to about $half size. And still, $half size hail, you have that falling in big amounts, big quantities. You can definitely have a deafening sound with that. So it looks like that hail core is just north of town of Lomita right now, continuing down toward the southeast. And again, this is your polygon for the tornado warning that continues across the western parts of Lampasas County. It's basically the 183 corridor right now. That goes until 7 o'clock. And again, up to golf ball size hail. This has had a history of producing up close to tennis ball size hail earlier across parts of Mills and western parts of Hamilton County. So this has been a big hail maker so far, and it will continue down through the Lomita area. We have eyes on it. We just don't have the radar, but we also have eyes on this. So as of right now, I'm not seeing an imminent threat for a tornado, but you can see there on our live look from our storm wrangler with meteorologist Josh Johns there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. If there's going to be a tornado, folks, we're going to show it to you first, and we're going to show it to you live. But as of right now, I just don't see this wrapping up with the potential for anything that's just imminent with a tornado warning. Let's go back to the velocity, and hopefully that trend will continue. If there was going to be one, it would be to the west of Lomita, but I'm not seeing these touch really. We want to see the greens, and we want to see these reds and the brighter colors touch for more of a tighter spin, if you will. So this is more of a broad spin, which can produce hail, which can produce high winds, but this is very broad as of right now. It did look better earlier north of Lomita, but now it looks like it's broadened out just a little bit. And remember, supercell cycle. They'll do that, they'll cycle through, and then they may try to spin up again. So I do think it tried right here, just to the northwest of Lomita, kind of broadened out here, right there on 183. That's where it probably, if it was going to produce a tornado, that's where the most likely point was going to be. And then it made its way down toward the south, south of 190. And notice how it kind of just broadened out here just a little bit. So that's good news. It doesn't mean the tornado warning's done. It just means it's good news that hopefully this is broadening out just a bit. Still a big wind threat, up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. Still quarter, maybe up to a few golf ball sized hailstones possible with this as well. Caleb?
That's pretty much the same notion that the National Weather Service is mentioning behind the scenes. They say the circulation has broadened. Their observation, just from using their radar tools, suggests that perhaps the rear flank downdraft is undercutting the inflow. It's the same observation, Josh, and you were making a moment ago. They're going to keep the tornado warning going, but they're saying that perhaps the potential is lessening based on the current trends.
Which is great news. But we still have Josh out there. Josh, give us your latest synopsis of what you got.
Yeah, Matt, we're getting a lot of rain now, too. I think we're starting to get taken over by the main corner of the storm. We're going to head south here soon just to get out in front of this again in case it tries to wrap up. But I really am not seeing anything that just jumps out to me and screams this is tornadic. I am seeing a lot of scud. I'm seeing a lot of moisture feed up into this. So naturally, with that eating more of the atmosphere, then it's likely going to become a big hail producer for Lomita. We don't have hail yet, but I imagine just up the road from us there is some.
And then we'll have to watch as this gets closer to Lampasas. In fact, it may go just to the west of Lampasas on its current track, but right down 183. So Josh is in a good location. And again, this is going to be moving through very rural sections of Lampasas County, right along 183 and to the southwest back to the Colorado River. So between 183 and the Colorado River, south of Lomita, so there's the Colorado River. That's the border with San Saba County. Here's 183 here. This is just going to kind of funnel right to the west and northwest of Lampasas. So with that, we will likely need you to take your tornado precautions there. Don't want to forget about the San Saba County storm. Looks like the worst of it is through San Saba. This is starting to hook as well, right along Highway 16. That's just developed. Let's look inside this thunderstorm as well. Yep, right in here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this one. Cherokee's just down the road here on 16. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. This is definitely assuming a position. You can see that hook echoes trying to develop right here. So we will be watching this one pretty closely as well as it continues across southeastern parts of San Saba County. Again, it's going to be just east of 16, now south of 190. At least some large hail, probably some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, ping pong ball size hail. So if you know anyone that lives between San Saba and Cherokee here on 16, that will continue to work its way down the south. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this one as well, as it will be moving over very rural sections of San Saba County, but it's definitely assuming that position of where it could become more of a spinner here in the next few minutes. So we will watch that very closely. But the tornado warning is farther off to the east across western parts of Lampasas County. Still includes the 183 corridor. This is northwest of you folks in the city of Lampasas. It's now 6:37. This officially goes until 7 o'clock. We'll see if they allow it to go that long. Is there any word that they would cancel this early?
They haven't officially said so. I know that they're speaking in terms of how this is probably weaker than what it once was, so it wouldn't be surprised me if that move was made and they go ahead and cancel it.
Okay, not yet though, not yet.
Not yet.
Hasn't been canceled yet. So again, let's go back and look inside this thunderstorm. Let's just hope it's still broad here, and it is. We're seeing the greens and reds together, but they're not touching each other right here. They're not putting those bright colors together, the bright reds, the bright greens, and that is definitely some good news. This is the way we want it to stay. Still can produce some strong winds, still can produce some hail, but I like at least the initial look of what we have right now as it continues to make its way off toward the south. And again, this is very rural out here between the Colorado River and 183 there in western parts of Lampasas County. If you've ever been here on 190 to the west of Lomita, pretty cool bridge here that goes across here just east of San Saba right over the Colorado River. We probably have some hailstones fall around there. Then that will continue down toward the south-southeast and into the eastern parts of San Saba County. And that one I'm starting to become a little more concerned about as that makes its way. Now, this is a different National Weather Service office. This is National Weather Service in Fort Worth. This is National Weather Service out of San Angelo. So they will be watching that too. Is there any words on that?
You know, I'm looking at that very same chat with San Angelo. Haven't heard anything from them yet. We've received some spotter reports of hail, but in terms of what they're watching with this storm, is a bit quiet on the western front at the moment.
Okay, so again, just one to watch. Let's put it there. One to watch there as we head east of 16. Again, that will continue down to the south. There's Colorado Bend State Park. And again, that's another beautiful area if you've never been there. And it will continue down through Colorado Bend State Park and then continue off toward the southeast. So folks, northwestern Burnett County, back through San Saba County, severe thunderstorm warning with this. Still the tornado warning. Looks like the worst of the weather for you folks in Lomita. Yeah, you're in the rain. You're probably getting a little bit of hail as well. But the actual circulation is now southwest of Lomita and continues down the south. You can still get some very strong winds even in this part of the thunderstorm here. But again, very broad with that rotation. And again, we're not seeing those bright greens, bright reds touching here. And it's kind of elongated just a little bit. So again, not seeing a total effect here of what I would be totally concerned about of a tornado, but we could get that spin up. Remember, it will likely cycle again, and we may see it spin back up as it gets farther down to the south. It's very unstable ahead of these thunderstorms, and there's nothing that's going to impede these, and there's nothing that's really going to keep them from weakening except the loss of daytime heating coming up here in the next couple of hours. So that's still going to bring that potential of some at least large hail and some gusty winds with this storm. Let's broaden our view. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, or severe thunderstorm watch, I should say, for the rest of central Texas, and it does include Waco, Temple, Killeen. But along and to the east of the I-35 corridor, I really think things are going to be pretty quiet, but we're going to be watching that closely. Up to the northwest of Hillsboro, there it looks like a little cell may be trying to pop there. So we will be watching that to see if the front activates any more thunderstorms as it makes its way off toward the east.
That's right. And in the meantime, while we look at that, I am just kind of toggling back and forth between what the National Weather Service is saying. Emergency management in San Saba County, by the way, their park marshals are informing campers at Colorado Bend State Park to take shelter. They're going through the campsites right now, alerting people. So giving people the heads up out there. And if you've got some friends and family that way, you may want to let them know as well. Outdoors is not the place to be when you've got thunderstorms such as these coming through. No word on if they're going to offer some sort of new warning for this San Saba County storm, but if we do hear something along those lines, I'll let you know.
All right, so 2 supercell thunderstorms that we are tracking. One moving through Lomita right now. The other one south of San Saba, north of Cherokee there on Highway 16. And that one may become the one that becomes the more dominant cell here. But again, we're just going to be watching that very closely. We do have meteorologist Josh Johns. He's in our storm wrangler. Josh, where are you right now and what are you looking at?
So to be dead exact, we are at County Road 2060 and 183. That's roughly going to be about 5 miles southeast of Lomita. So we're looking back towards the core of this storm now. What it looked like on radar is it had a little bit more outflow dominance to it, but was trying to wrap up a little bit more. You can see how turbulent this area is ahead of it on the front end of the storm. So still a lot of dynamics happening with this. At the very bottom, that's going to be your base, and you can see that there's moisture feeding up into it again. In fact, at a pretty decent rate, if you look at it, going from right to left across your screen.
All right, so we have eyes on this and don't see anything that's imminent with this. And it's just kind of loosely organized. I'm not seeing a well-defined wall cloud, but that could be back in the ring, correct, Josh?
Yes, it very well could be. We saw a wall cloud earlier, and then we kind of got ahead of this and lost it a little bit. But it's going to be back there straight ahead, just judging by the motion on this.
All right, so again, we're going through the radar right here and trying to find anything that looks like it's tightening up again. Now the shape of the thunderstorm with reflectivity starting to look a little more impressive once again, getting that hook echo that's starting to reform here. So put that into motion real quick, and you can see it kind of lost this, and now it's making its way off toward the southeast, becoming more better defined here as it makes its way farther to the southeast. Again, this is going to probably stay just to the northwest and west of Lampasas. You're going to get rain out of this in Lampasas, but I do think the worst of it's going to likely pass just to your west. So this one will continue down toward the south, southeast, likely between the Colorado River and Highway 183. So if you know anyone between Lomita and the Burnett County line, that's where we will have the potential for some tornadic potential. But as of right now, things aren't spinning quite as bad as they were when this was north of Lomita. But remember, it does look like, at least with the reflectivity here, that it's trying to reorganize just a little bit, and we're starting to get some higher reflectivities as well. Let's go ahead and check our hail tracker with this. And yep, that's what we have. So right here, just on from Lomita down toward the south, looks like the hail core is increasing again. $half size hail, maybe up to golf ball size hail with this thunderstorm, moving right over Lomita currently, and then continuing down 183, and again over rural sections here between the Colorado River and 183. So I do think this is cycling back up again. We're seeing the hail core starting to come back up. Let's go to the reflectivity, the storm winds real quick and show, yep, we may be tightening just a little bit once again right here to the southwest of Lomita. So let's get Josh back in on this, on the Storm Wrangler. This is about, 4 miles south of Lomita right now. Exactly which way are you looking? It looks like it's maybe due west of you on 183 there, Josh.
Yeah, we're looking cat a corner across 183, so that's probably going to be just north of west direction-wise. And you can see the feeder coming in a little bit more there. I see a little bit more motion to it, and the feeder just looks like it's pulling a little bit more moisture and kind of tilting up just a little bit on the left side of your screen. So I've been watching this here, and that's what I've noticed, at least lately. You see, we're getting a little bit of clearing, so maybe we'll be able to see the corner of that wall cloud soon.
Yeah, the main updraft, I think, is on the left-hand side of the screen where you see those lower clouds kind of feeding into the rain, and then it just disappears on you on the far left-hand side of your screen. That's probably where the mesocyclone is. So we have the winds feeding in right here, and then you see it disappear here. So somewhere probably right in here, that's where the mesocyclone is. That's where your large hail is going to be there, and also on the north side of the mesocyclone as well, as it continues to work its way down toward the south. So they still have the tornado warning in effect with this, and that goes until 7 o'clock. So for the next 14 minutes here, we are at least going to continue with the tornado warning. I don't think they've let it go just yet as it continues again down toward the south. Let's take a look at that San Saba storm as well, see if we have anything with that. And yeah, still have a little bit of a hook here. Let's go to the storm winds. Not too impressive here. We may have some stronger winds blowing out of the south side of this. So again, something to keep an eye on here as it continues to work its way off toward the toward the south-southeast, just to the east of Highway 16, the way it looks right now. But at the very least, probably quarter to golf ball size hail will be likely with this thunderstorm as it continues across the eastern parts of San Saba County. And again, there's Colorado Bend State Park, and we had Caleb earlier. They are telling people to take shelter there as it continues off toward the south-southeast. So it should be at Colorado Bend State Park here right at the top of the hour. And that's giving you a good 15 minutes leeway here as that makes its way off toward the southeast. These are the only two major supercells that we are dealing with so far across the area. The one here in Lampasas County, the one in San Saba County, broaden our horizons once again. Let's go back to Hill County, see if that's done anything lately. Nope, still green with that near Blum. So we'll see if this can try to take off here. It's right along the cold front, which is now through parts of Bosque and moving into Hill County. You can see that green line right there. So we'll see if this can form any thunderstorms. So far, the cap has held along and east of I-35. And when we lose the daytime heating, I really think the chances for any thunderstorms, where they are not occurring, will continue to go down. So sunset, ironically tonight, is right straight up and down to 8 o'clock. So it looks like now through 8 o'clock, if we don't see anything develop along the front here to our north, we're probably not going to see too terribly much. So we got about another hour and a half to see if anything can fire here to the north and west of Waco, Temple, Killeen. The storms to the west will continue to move south into the hill country. So that is going to be moving west of you folks in Temple and Killeen, west of you folks in Lampasas as it continues down toward the south. And again, we are seeing that Lomita storm. You're probably seeing some of that with a hail core just on the south side of Lomita right now. Let's go back to meteorologist Josh Johns in the Storm Wrangler as our tornado warning continues.
Matt, I think the mesocyclone might be right in front of us. You can see the rising motion in those clouds ahead of us. You can see the spin. If judging on how wide the view from this camera is, the spin at the top there. So this is spinning in front of us, and there's a little bit of motion up into it. So I question if this is either the mesocyclone or if it's developing another one close to where we are.
Yeah, it's probably going to be very close to you. I will say that the hail side, well, that's a little more impressive what we're seeing with the radar winds right now, Caleb.
Yeah, it looks better. I will say there's some contamination going on with this product, but there's definitely one of the better signals in terms of rotation that we've seen over the course of the past 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, so Josh, this may be tightening up just off on the left-hand side of your screen right there. And also, it looks like the hail core is going back up into this thing as well, where it looks like we're back up to at least golf ball size hail, maybe slightly larger than that. So again, this storm has cycled once again as it makes its way down toward the southeast. What kind of wind do you have right there? Is it feeding in or is it coming out of the storm?
It's hard to tell. It looks like it's coming out of the southwest a little bit.
Okay.
At our exact location.
Which, that's interesting because you'd think we'd have more inflow with this passing just off to your west. So again, it may not be strong enough to really draw in a lot of inflow with this, is why we're not seeing a tornado right now, which is good news. So the winds across our area today, 5 to 15 miles per hour, getting up to 20 at times. We're not seeing a day where we're seeing 20 to 30 mile per hour low-level winds blow into this thing, and that's good news. But again, we do have that potential, and it does look like the hail core is definitely puffing back up in this thing. And it looks like it may be trying to kind of move more to the south-southeast again. It was moving due south. Now it looks like it's trying to go right down 183. And again, that's going to happen. You're going to go south and southeast as this thing evolves. So folks in Lampasas, we still need to keep an eye on this one as it makes its way to the southeast. So we're almost to the edge of this polygon. So is the Weather Service, Caleb, thinking about issuing anything else?
They are going to do one. They were going to do a downstream tornado warning for this. No mention on the specific counties. We'll get that in the warning text coming up, but they're going to be issuing that here in just a little bit.
All right, so we are going to get another tornado warning. That is confirmed, correct?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to stay on the air as long as this is in our area. It's 6:51 right now, and we're still in our newscast here. But again, this is going to continue down to the southeast. And folks in Lampasas, this was moving more south. Now it looks like it's trying to, and you can see it even in the past couple of scans here, these greens now starting to come more from west to east. So I do think this is going to turn the whole storm more to the southeast as it works its way down 183. So the new tornado warning could very well include you folks in Lampasas. So that'll be something that we keep an eye on. It's definitely turned. You can definitely see an eastward turn here, southeastward turn. So it's not moving due south anymore. It's moving off to the southeast. And that's unfortunate because that puts more of Lampasas in it, especially as you head from 281 and west. So Highway 281 and west, that's probably where we're going to see the new tornado warning that will likely be issued with this here over the next few minutes as it continues down to the south. Again, Lomita, you're on the backside of this now. You are going to see better conditions here over the next 5 to 10 minutes as it continues down toward the southeast. So again, better conditions for Lomita, degrading conditions as you have a new tornado warning now, and it does include the city of Lampasas. Caleb.
It's going to run until 7:30, Matt. They have the motion upped on this a little bit, up to 20-mile-per-hour motion to the southeast. So again, until 7:30, it's a tornado warning for southwestern Lampasas County. That is the brand new box. You can see that that has been drawn, includes all of the city of Lampasas, basically up 183, connecting the storm to the city. And the box doesn't quite reach Kipner, but this is going to take in portions of the southern part of Lampasas County until 7:30. In addition, ping pong ball size hail continues to be a factor with this thunderstorm. And from their line of view, again, we're not talking about a spotter confirmation. It's radar indicated rotation at this time. They have it into Lampasas at about 7:10.
All right, so that'd be the next 20 minutes or so. So again, tornado warning in effect for you folks in the city of Lampasas. It's not in town yet. You still have some time here. You got about 15 to 20 minutes before this thing makes its way in. But you need to go ahead and know what you're going to do here in the next 10 minutes. Where's your tornado safe place? You should already have that planned out. But if you don't, again, interior room, away from outside walls, put as many walls between you and the outside. Bathtub and bathrooms are a good place to go. Also, when you get into an interior closet, that can be good as well. Cover yourself up with pillows, blankets, put a football helmet on the kids there as it continues down to the or to the southeast now. And it looks like it'll be in Lampasas. Again, this is saying 728. So we're going to be seeing that. So again, 728 for folks in Lampasas, but
that's a brand new scan. So let me just redo that track.
Okay.
That's probably going to give you a more accurate time. And notice the rotation's still a little bit more connected there on that.
yeah,
scan.
it is. All right, Lampasas, okay, now 714. That's a little better there. So again, with the new scan, 714 coming into Lampasas. The airport on the northwest side of town there, again, similar. And then we have some of the schools there for you as well, when this will be tracking, just in case there's any baseball games or anything like that going on. And you can see right here, yeah, it has tightened up just a little bit more between Lomita and Lampasas now as it makes its way off toward the southeast. We do have meteorologist Josh Johns on this in our Storm Wrangler. Josh, what do you have?
Well, we are going to be very close to 2023 and 183. So that is pretty much halfway between Lomita and Lampasas. You're looking directly at the storm, and right now I'm not seeing anything crazy. You do see a little bit more mid-level organization. I'm trying to find, I think whatever would be in there would be stuck in the rain. So I don't see anything that's spinning directly in front of us other than the entire storm itself, with it being a supercell. There's a little bit of clearing to my left side, so that's probably going to be your rain-free base. So I think we're looking at the right side, at the right spot here.
All right, so that's Josh there on 183. We have it labeled to where he is on our radar right now. So if anything were to occur, it'd be off to the west-northwest on the left-hand side of the screen we were showing you there. So Josh, again, is northwest of folks in Lampasas. And again, still broad rotation with this. It did look a little bit better a scan ago, but it's still showing this as it makes its way off toward the southeast. Could produce a tornado at any time. That's why we want folks in Lampasas. We're giving you lots of heads up right now. Let's go ahead and get into your safe place here at the top of the hour. So again, after 7 o'clock, we need to start preparing to get in our safe place in Lampasas, especially if you live northwest on 183 and west of Highway 281. Also, I think hail is going to be going up in this. And yeah, we do have a good hail core with this, at least golf ball size hail, ping pong to golf ball size hail possible with this thunderstorm, and $50 as well as it continues off toward the southeast. Again, we get 183 and 281 to junction here just on the north side of Lampasas, about a mile or two. So that's pretty much where this is headed, right where the junction is, and it will continue down toward the southeast. We are going to let our folks in KRHD land go away, and we're going to continue live on KXXV. All right, tornado warning continues here at 6:57, just before the top of the hour for Lampasas County. Let's run this down for you, Caleb.
Yep, goes until 7:30, Matt. As of right now, it's radar indicated rotation. Also with this, about a golf ball size hail threat, but the tornado warning itself does include the city of Lampasas and most of the southern part of the county. Runs until 7:30, and again, anywhere between this storm and along 183 down to the city of Lampasas and almost over to Kempner is going to be involved in this particular tornado warning.
All right, so that's moving off to the southeast. Let's look at our San Saba County Storm 2. And again, it looks like that one's going to go just to the west of Colorado Bend State Park, at least the worst part of it. You're going to get rain, you're going to get thunder and lightning there, but it looks like it'll be just to the west of the worst part between the Colorado River and I'd say about 3 miles east of 16. That's where we're probably going to have the worst of the conditions with this, and large hail will be the primary threat with this, also up to 60-mile-per-hour winds. Looks like it's going to pass east of you folks in Cherokee on its current course, so that is some good news there on 16. But you'll probably get some rain there as more thunderstorms are developing across the central and western parts of San Saba County, as we are still seeing that front. This is the actual cold front itself, making its way down to the south across the southern part. So if you live in San Saba, you're fine. It's the southeastern parts of San Saba County that we are going to be watching. Richland Springs, you're also behind this cold front as of right now. So off to the east we go. There's your brand new tornado warning that goes until 7:30. It is going to be riding down Highway 183, and again, a pretty large and sizable hail core with this as well. And it's getting closer and closer to the city of Lampasas. Again, probably about 7:10 to 7:15, it will be reaching the northwestern parts of Lampasas as it makes that southeastward turn. And it has definitely turned. Now, I'm not seeing as much of a pronounced hook with this thunderstorm as we did earlier. Hopefully that's indicative, again, that it's starting to change just a little bit. It looks like it may be outflow just some. Maybe the forward flank downdraft is coming out of this just a little bit more. Let's take a look at the velocities. I think this may turn into a big wind event. We still have the rotation right here, up 183. Can't wait for the new scan to come in, because I think with the new one, we may start to see more wind here on the front side of this, which would start to cut off the mesocyclone. And that's what this would indicate right here. You're getting your strong winds down 183 right now. We do have Josh. He's just northwest of Lampasas right now in our storm wrangler. Are you getting any winds out of the west or southwest yet?
Nope, it's dead here so far, Matt, but we are starting to get some hail out of this. You can see some of those smaller hailstones coming in. I think the largest I've seen is maybe a dime. I'm sure there's larger hail back in there where it looks a little more frosty, so we'll turn south here soon. But we're basically at the north end of the new tornado warning polygon, so it should be kind of to the left of me, or just, oh, I see what happened. The new scan came in, the wind's taking over. So it would be to the left of me, but now with that new scan, we're kind of getting overtaken by the rear flank downdraft, which means the hail coming, and we're going to head south to get out of this hail, Matt.
right, so the hail core now moving very close to where Josh is, and Josh is just to the northwest of Lampasas right now by a few miles, and he will continue to turn around and get down 183. And again, we have the radar on this, we have our storm wrangler on this. If there's going to be a tornado, we will have it for you folks. Hopefully that will not occur. The atmosphere, I will say, is not particularly ripe for tornadoes today. Could we get a spin up or two? Yes, but this is not a classic tornado day here across central Texas, but it is a day where we could see some large hail and maybe a spin up or two across the region. So again, that's meteorologist Josh Johns and our storm wrangler. He will continue to work his way down toward the south. And this thunderstorm continues off to the southeast. Do we have a new velocity scan with this yet?
The brand new one, from a storm relative perspective, does kind of, as you mentioned, bring in some weakening in the latest scan.
Okay, so hopefully this trend will continue. Again, it cycled near Lomita. It was stronger north of Lomita. It weakened just to the west of Lomita. It cycled again, went back up south of Lomita, and then now starting to weaken again. So what we're seeing is a bunch of cycling phases with this. About every 10 to 15 minutes, we're getting into an up phase, and then we're getting into a down phase, which we're in right now, which means it can drop its hail core. So yeah, we could get a lot of large hail just on northwest parts of Lampasas as this makes its way off toward the southeast. And again, moving into town, and probably here in the next few minutes. It's now 7:02. When we tracked this for you, it was about between 7:10 and 7:15, moving into the northwest side of Lampasas. Looks like that's going to hold pretty much true here as that works its way to the south. And it's just one storm. This will blow through in about 15, 20 minutes, and hopefully it gets on out of your hair and everything will be fine for the remainder of the evening. But again, our tornado warning continues. This is about the time in Lampasas, we need to start thinking about finding that safe place, making sure that we're putting as many walls between you and the outside, getting into our safe place as of right now in the Lampasas area. No need to panic of this. We got you covered here. We have Josh on it. We're watching it with the radar. We're going to stay calm, cool, and collective here as this makes its way to the southeast. But if we start to see more signs of a tornado, of course, we're going to be right here on it for you as it works its way off toward the city of Lampasas. So again, this has been following a populated area from Lomita down to Lampasas, and it did do that southeastward turn. Definitely was going more south earlier and then took that turn here just to the north of Lampasas. So I do think at the very least in Lampasas, you're going to get the core of this thunderstorm to move right overhead, which means hail, which means high winds. So it's going to get pretty loud here as we head through the next several minutes with you. And again, this tornado warning goes until 7:30 this evening. There is the main core of the thunderstorm, and tracked with that, again, between 7:10, 7:15 and Lampasas. Again, Lampasas is broad, so let's give it about a 5 to 10 minute span as it moves across town. And then it looks like it will continue to the southeast from there. And the reason why it stops right at the Lampasas-Burnett County line, because Burnett County is Austin, San Antonio. So San Saba County is San Angelo. Lampasas County is National Weather Service in Fort Worth. Burnett County is National Weather Service in Austin, San Antonio. So we have 3 weather service offices watching this one storm. Right now it's in the Fort Worth office area. We'll see what they do once it gets closer to the Burnett County line and what Austin, San Antonio will feel they do with this. But it does appear that it is weakening. I'm not seeing that pronounced hook echo. I am not seeing the winds in this become any stronger, but I do think the hail is still going to be there. But this is definitely not showing me any signs that we have an imminent tornado threat. But again, next 2 scans could change that. That's why the tornado warning remains in effect. We've seen this cycle over and over if you've been watching with us here for the past 45 minutes or so. $50 size hail, maybe slightly larger, possible with this thunderstorm. That's moving right toward the split here of 281 and 183 as it continues down toward Lampasas. So again, the tornado warning continues. Our policy with tornado warnings, especially moving toward populated areas, we stay on the air, because if it was moving toward you, you would want us to be on the air as well. So we're going to stay right here until any of this is lifted here across the area. But it is showing a slight weakening trend, and that is definitely some good news. I know we do have meteorologist Josh Johns. He's heading, I think, back toward Lampasas right now. Exactly where are you, Josh?
We are a little further south than we were, so we're probably, I'd wager to guess, about 6-7 miles outside of Lampasas at this time. The storm started dropping some hail. It started getting bigger. The largest I saw was dime to nickel size hail, but I know there was bigger hail, so we decided to get out and get out of it before it got too heavy. But the hail came up pretty quick. When this arrives, the hail is going to come with it pretty quick, so folks in Lampasas need to be aware of that.
All right, so we have Josh on this storm. We have Caleb watching as well. Anything new from the Weather Service, Caleb?
I do know that the Austin San Antonio office is watching this. They are contemplating some downstream warnings. They're not going to say it will happen, but they are watching this storm, and if need be, then Burnett County would be the next to get a warning. As far as this storm goes from the Fort Worth office, I know this moved over Lomita. We don't have any hail reports from Lomita. We don't have any spotter reports from this particular thunderstorm. Hopefully the heaviest and largest of the hail missed the town, but we certainly carry the assumption that there is still going to be some large hail in the storm as it approaches Lampasas.
All right, so folks in Lampasas, the potential for a tornado is there. I don't see imminent threats of a tornado, at least with the scans we have currently. Those scans may change as it gets closer to town here over the next 10 to 15 minutes. So I still want you to take your tornado precautions. I still want you to take this seriously, but hopefully we are seeing this thing weaken just a little bit. It doesn't have that hook echo shape anymore, and we are seeing lighter winds that are around the mesocyclone. So maybe it's starting to choke itself off here just a little bit, as it looks like the winds coming from the rear flank downdraft are going into the mesocyclone now. This could be choking itself off, and what that means is we're losing the inflow into the thunderstorm, and with that, that means the storm overall will start to weaken here over the next few minutes. Hopefully that will be the case, and I am seeing that on reflectivity. Caleb, it's definitely looking like it's coming down from where it was.
Yeah, there's no hook on this storm anymore, Matt. We had that feature to the west of 183 a short time ago, and it looks like it might have done a process that we'd call occlusion. Basically, the hook folds in on itself, comes back inside the storm as the winds cut off that circulation, and now you're left with a blob-like storm here. Certainly still a severe one from a wind and hail standpoint, but this could be actively removing the rotation, at very least in the low levels. National Weather Service is basically monitoring that and saying the same thing. They will likely end this tornado warning early because these trends are moving in a direction where it just doesn't look like it's possible to produce a tornado anymore. So I think this box is going to disappear off this map here in just a few minutes. We'll wait and see, but their word is they will likely cancel this.
And we will wait for the box to disappear before we go back to regular scheduled programming. But still a hail threat. And I even think it's turning more to the east now than to the southeast. A lot of this may go just to the north of Lampasas. So if you live on the north side of Lampasas toward the split here, 183, 281, I think that's where the worst of it now going to be, in this pie shape right here as it continues to work its way now more east-southeast than due southeast as it's turning more in an easterly direction. So as it unwinds, that is pretty typical. You get more of a right turner wind more toward the south. As you have a stronger thunderstorm, it's weakening, it starts to blow itself out, and it starts to turn off toward the east. So again, east of 183 now, that's where it looks like the main hail core is, between 183 and 281. The hail core has come down as well. The winds have come down in this. I think we're going to be allowed to hopefully get this warning canceled pretty soon. It's gone. Yep. Tornado warning canceled for Lampasas County. These are the trends that we have been watching as well. This thunderstorm continues to weaken. However, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Lampasas County. So quarter-size hail still a possibility with this. And winds, I think winds now 60 miles per hour, as this is weakening very quickly here on the north side of Lampasas. Quick look back toward the southwest, thunderstorm that's in southeastern parts of San Saba County. That's probably the strongest one we have now. That will be moving down into Llano County. Thank you for trusting us with your weather tonight. If need be, we'll get back on the air. But again, tornado warning canceled for Lampasas County. Keep it right here and we'll keep you advised.